Well, I thought I was just picking up my next project vehicle, but I had no idea I was actually getting my hands on a very rare and iconic beast. Released in 1998, this monster was the precursor to vehicles like the SRT Durango, the Trackhawk, the Audi SQ5, the BMW X5M, and of course, the Porsche Cayenne. With its top grain leather and its interior accessories and plethora of features, its throaty exhaust note and its massive 5.9 liter V8, this bad boy is the granddaddy of them all. This is the 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee 5.9 Limited. The grandfather to the luxury performance SUVs like the Porsche Cayenne, which we all know and love, the Grand Cherokee Limited 5.9 is ultra rare because it was only available in 1998. Out of the 250,000 Jeep Grand Cherokees produced in 1998, just 15,000 of them were produced with the 5.9 liter V8. I'm not trying to give you a detailed review or a history lesson on the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. We'll save videos like that for Doug DeMuro and the like, but I did want to let you know why I picked this dang thing up, because ultimately it is set up for performance. But the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited really is a special vehicle, and that's why I chose to get one ultimately. It's a great driver's vehicle. It actually handles quite well on the highway. It cruises at 75, 80 miles an hour with no problems, and even though it is a big 5.9 liter V8, I still get about 16, 17 miles per gallon. It does have a throaty, healthy exhaust note coming from that big 5.9 liter V8, but it is very quiet and serene and comfortable on the inside, cruising down the highway or traveling on the trails. And of course, it's torquey and powerful, which is a combination that you would come to expect from a vehicle like a Porsche Cayenne. This thing is almost 30 years old. It came out, 6 years ahead of the Porsche Cayenne, and it did 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds. I think Car and Driver did it in 6.9 seconds. That's insane for 1998. It is super comfortable on the highway, but it is a very capable off-road rig as well, which is one of the characteristics that made it so attractive to me. It is an all-wheel drive vehicle, but it is a 90-10 split to the rear wheels. That means 90% of the power goes through the rear wheels, while only 10% goes to the front. But when it comes time to hit the trails, you can put it in 4 low, which locks the drivetrain at the transfer case, making it a true 50-50 split between the front and the rear wheels, and that gives it some great off-road capabilities. Having recently gotten rid of the Nissan Titan, I knew there was going to be a hole in my life when it comes to sort of off-roading, overlanding type driving, and I've always been a big fan of Jeeps, and I looked at a bunch of Wranglers. I had a TJ in the past. Check out the channel if you're interested in TJ content, but I was never a huge fan of them, especially as a daily driver. I really wanted another Jeep XJ. I've had several over the years. I love that sort of boxy, kind of rugged look that the XJ provides. The problem is that they're really, really hard to find now, especially in good condition. And if you do find one in good condition, it's already lifted, it has big tires on it, and people want a premium. Some of these are going for $12,000, $13,000, which is just not something I was willing to spend on a vehicle like this, especially because we have more plans for the channel coming up. And if you do find one that's priced right, it's been run ragged, beat to hell, it's leaking everywhere, it's got a bunch of dings and dents in it, and the interior is probably crap. So after driving several Cherokees, after driving several Wranglers, and none of them really hitting the spot, I came across this bad boy on the internet, and it's a vehicle that I really didn't know much about. Now, I ultimately decided to pull the trigger because, for a lot of reasons, it's in pretty good condition. I actually haven't touched it at all. I've been driving it for about 3 weeks now, and I haven't done a single thing because I wanted to get some video clips of it as it was, as I got it. But I purchased it because it had a really good service record history. It was a one-owner vehicle, and I say one owner because it's essentially been in the same family. It was purchased brand new in 1998 in Montana by an older gentleman who drove it for several years, treating it very well, obviously. And in 2010, I believe, he passed away and he left the vehicle to his daughter, who is actually a retired woman herself. It has 152,000 miles on it right now, but get this. One of the service records notes its mileage at 129,000 miles, and guess what? That was in 2009. The original owner owned a bar in Big Sky, Montana, which is pretty cool, and they didn't put a lot of miles on it because they kept it garaged, and they just allowed the grandkids and family members to drive the Cherokee while they were up in the area skiing. Having grown up in Minnesota, these days I tend to try to avoid vehicles that spent most of their life up north, but this was kept in the garage and kept clean regularly. There is no rust, even on the underside. Pretty impressive. That's been pretty well kept. Of course, it does have some dents and dings. It's almost 30 years old, and people were using it as a ski rig. So throwing bags in and out, throwing skis and ski cases up on the roof, there's bound to be some accidents. But it's never been in a real accident, and again, it's got some great service records with a bunch of new components. But of course, it needs some maintenance items, so we're going to tackle those. But I'm excited to really dig into this thing a little bit, and I got some plans already in the mix. We got wheels and tires coming. We got some interior modifications. We got some lighting stuff. I might do a little bit of a lift. I'm going to do some exhaust work. We're gonna kind of set it up for a mild overlander. But just look at some of the features on this thing. We have these factory louvers to keep that big 5.9 liter V8 cool under the hood. They're kind of a little out of place. I'm a little bit baffled by the choice in design, but they are factory, so you got to respect it. People love these factory star wheels for some reason. I'm not a huge fan, and I can't wait to get rid of them, but maybe we'll be able to sell them for a little bit of a premium. I've never really been a fan of the door cladding on the Jeep Grand Cherokees, but it comes off pretty easily, as well as the rocker molding, so I might take it off and see which way we like it better, but it depends on how the wheel and tire package looks and maybe what color combination we choose to go with, so we'll see. This one did have the tow package, and it has a fuel tank skid plate from the factory. Pretty dope. The exhaust still sounds beautiful. It has a great exhaust note. Truly one of the best factory exhaust notes that I've ever heard, but the piping is a little bit rusty, so we're gonna have to get rid of it and put some fresh stuff in there, and also a nice tip or two. We'll see what we decide to do there, but I don't really want to change the tone all that much, so I'm really trying to figure out what the best combination is. What's really cool about the Grand Cherokee is that the glass actually opens. That is sick and really helpful if you're hauling lumber and things like that where you need a little bit of extra space but you want to close the tailgate. That's kind of cool. But look at this. This is nice. One of the reasons I like this vehicle is because we can put the dogs in the back end and not worry too much about getting hair all over the place, unlike the Armada, where we want to try to keep it clean as best we can. But we can put the dogs in here, take a trip to the beach, do a little camping, a little bit of overlanding stuff, and really not worry all that much. It has the iconic Jeep door sound. But look at this interior, guys. It was kept super clean and pristine, and these honestly are some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. And when I say these seats are comfortable, guys, I am not kidding. They are literally some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. So cushy, they hold you in, and to think this thing was made in 1998 by Jeep, pretty unbelievable. It has a working moonroof too, which is pretty dope. And look at this, I thought this was pretty sweet. A VHS tape for tips from the Jeep product team. And here she is, the bad boy. I've barely looked under the hood. I checked the oil, I checked the fluids, the quick scan. So I haven't cleaned it up, obviously, at all. Now, I said I didn't touch this thing, but I actually did. I did a couple of updates so far, just little ones. I had the front door windows tinted because I can't stand driving in a fishbowl. It had to happen. I had to get the cup holder thing because the Grand Cherokee cup holders are atrocious. This is from Mountain Vista Fabrication, I think it is. And I did a transfer case and a front diff service. I have videos up on the channel already, so those will be going live here in the next week or two, so check those out if there's interest. I upgraded the front diff cover while I was in there, so a little bit beefier. Remember, this thing's from 1998. The beautiful leather seats are heated. There's a digital vehicle information center screen right in the middle. A lot of people have trouble with those and they just get rid of them, but still kind of cool to think about having. Over 300 and something foot-pounds of torque, almost 300 horsepower, and again, 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds in 1998 in this square brick of a Jeep. The 373 gears help it a lot in a 4-speed automatic transmission. She gets up and goes. It feels planted and nimble, and there's not as much body roll as you expect from an old Jeep. It feels so good in the curves, and man, it gets up and goes on the highway. It's going to be a fun project, and I'm looking forward to getting into some upgrades for this thing, and hopefully we can use it a little bit this fall and winter, but I'm still in the market for the next channel car. We need something fast, we need something fun, and I got it narrowed down to between two. And I'm not sure which one I'm gonna go with. I think it's gonna be whatever one I find the best deal on first. It goes without saying, guys, a lot more coming for the channel. I hope you stick around. We got Jeep stuff, we got Ranger stuff, and we got the next channel car coming up soon. I hope you stick around. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate the support up to this point. We'll see you in the next one. I had a feeling the old sunroof wouldn't hold up to that high pressure spray.